You're listening to an AINC original podcast. We believe you don't have to do life without a compass. Let us be your guide on this amazing journey. Welcome to Navigating Life with Vision Loss.
Hello, this is Kim Wardlow. I am your host for Navigating Life with Vision Loss. It's March. It's almost spring. I'm so excited for it to be spring. But like many others, I think we start to think about spring cleaning and getting everything ready to be able to enjoy our spring and summer. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Organization, decluttering, minimalism. So that's our topic. I want to give you a couple of announcements. Our Game Changers podcast, Adaptable Sports, is going to be coming in May. So we're excited for that. And then as always, if you have any guest suggestions or questions for any of our shows, please email us at feedback@aftersight.org. That is FEEDBACK at AFTERSIGHT.org. Or you can call us at 720-712-8856. Again, that's 720-712-8856. So I'm really excited to have on the show today Tamara from Unsightly Opinions, which I just love the name of your YouTube channel. And it's so fun. So definitely, folks, she has all kinds of tips and opinions there. It's really fun. So go there. And I know you're going to be on the Blind Chick as well. And I think that's actually coming out in May. And you'll talk about more of your personal story and your journey with vision loss. But I'm super excited to have you on today to talk about home organization and cleaning.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
So, as I said, we're about to come into spring, looking at spring cleaning. I know on your YouTube channel, you have lots of great tips. We may not be able to even get to all of them in this one program, but lots of great tips on cleaning and organization. But as I myself am getting ready to do that for spring, I know many of the things I read, they say, well, the first step to spring cleaning is decluttering. So what can you advise us as we're trying to maybe not have as much clutter and as much stuff in our homes that we're not using?
Yeah, so I think that the first thing for me is not to overwhelm yourself. If you're trying to get rid of things, it can be, oh no, I have to do everything all at once. It's a process. You don't have to do everything all in one day or over the course of a weekend. For me, it's a continual process of decluttering, identifying the things that don't belong anymore, haven't been used, are broken, and then letting them move on to their next life with somebody that is going to enjoy them and use them regularly. I would work on the highest impact areas first, the areas that are maybe most concerning. I think for me, those areas are my closet and my kitchen, because as a blind or low vision person, it's probably the most high impact area where I'm spending the majority of my time trying to find, identify, and be efficient.
That's great. And do you have any advice for those things that we're not using, but we're still kind of sentimental about and we're trying to let go of?
Well, I tend to use a bit of a Marie Kondo approach of providing gratitudes. Things have served you, they have played their part, and you don't have to get rid of everything that's sentimental. I give myself one office box of memories of things that are important to me, or I try and find spaces. For those of you who might be watching the podcast, behind me there's a bookshelf full of all kinds of wonderful little things that are my memories from traveling the world. I don't take photographs. I pick one thing that I bring back, and it finds pride of place on my shelf so I can experience it in my own way. So finding new life for it in a different part of your home, giving it new life so someone else can enjoy it. Or if you still need it and you're not ready to part with it, putting it in a box. Because I think if you look at that box probably 6 months or a year later, you're going to go, well, no, I don't think that was as important as I thought it was. Or if it still is, then you know it's something that's probably worth having out on display somewhere in your home.
Right. That's great advice. So when you start actually cleaning, you've decluttered, do you start in those same two places, your closet and your kitchen?
Well, my closet and my kitchen are continually organized. Those, I would say, get a quick touch up once a week. So if things get moved out of place, get put away from the dishwasher in the wrong place, I'll do a quick kind of go through each of the drawers, make sure things are where they're supposed to be. But I'll do a bigger declutter semi-annually or quarterly, depending on the need, and determine, okay, well, is that still functional? Is that something I've even touched in the last year? Is that something I intend to use? And if it's not something that is serving the function, the less stuff that you have, less things to focus on, the easier it is to find the things that you're actually using.
That is key. And especially if you do have some vision loss or are blind, having that easy identification and quick identification is super important. So I know some of the things you talk about on your podcast are cleaning techniques. So like not using gloves or, and one I hadn't thought about, actually using your feet when you're cleaning the floor, like some of those kinds of things that people might find really helpful and maybe hadn't thought about. And just that cleaning approach, I think lots of us have heard that, kind of the top-down approach.
So yeah, top-down is really important because especially if you are experiencing vision loss, if you've cleaned a surface underneath and you're wiping down something above, you're not necessarily going to know if dust was falling onto the clean surface that you've cleaned below it. You're not necessarily going to know if it's still clean after the fact, and rather than doing it twice, do it once. All of my cleaning is very much pattern and routine oriented. So if it's things that I'm not visually going to remember, of which it's most of it. So, the kitchen gets a quick wipe up every day because it's a high impact area. But if it's things that I'm not interacting with and I'm not going to notice that it's getting dusty, like a bookshelf with knickknacks on it or a piano or a coffee table, I have reminders in my phone at specific intervals to let me know when those things need to get redone, because there is no visual reminder and I'm busy and I won't remember to do it. And then it'll be 2 months down the road and somebody comes in and says, "Ooh, yeah, it's been a while since you dusted, hey?" And I go, "Oh no." So having that reminder system really helps.
Let's talk about like maybe particular rooms. So if you're in the kitchen and the things in the kitchen, there are those day-to-day things that we have, dishes, countertops, those types of things, and then floors. But then, as you said, maybe quarterly or twice a year, you may be doing, a deeper dive, a deeper clean and wiping down things that you don't necessarily do every day. Could you give some specific tips for the kitchen?
Absolutely. So in my kitchen, one of the biggest things I've found to be helpful is to remove anything that's not being used on a daily or more than half the week off of the counter. It has no home. It has no pride of place. It gets put away in a cupboard. So my counters are fairly minimal. I have a couple of appliances that stay out. I use my kettle almost daily. I use my toaster almost daily. I keep the utensils that I use right next to the stove in a vase, so it's easy to grab while I'm at the stove and I don't have to move anywhere else. But almost everything else is off the counter. It doesn't belong. It doesn't have a space, so it's not there. And if I need to get it out, I will get it out of the cupboard. I will bring it out, and then I will put it right back away so that when I am trying to move through my space, which is important, it's very organized, it's very clean, it's very meticulous so that I don't end up in a situation where I can't find the thing I need quickly while something's burning on the stove. Also, the other piece that I found really helpful, and this was something that I learned over time, is most of the things are both pushed to the back of the counter, so nothing's sitting close to the edge. And the things that I have on the counter are weighted. So it's not a light glass vase that I keep my utensils in. It's a very heavy stone vase, so that if I accidentally bump it while I'm looking for it, it's not going to fall over.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to move. Everything's relatively anchored, so that as I'm kind of coming through with my hands and feeling for it, it's not going to fall over and create a bigger problem.
Right.
When it comes to drawers and organization inside of cupboards in the kitchen, I tend to use a lot of organizers or dividers so that I can keep things with their like kind things. I prefer a knife block rather than just keeping knives in an organizer in a drawer just for safety.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm digging through, there is no chance of me accidentally grabbing something sharp with my hands, cutting myself. But other things like, okay, all of my scissors go in one little container, of which there are 3 pairs. All of my, I keep my zester and my potato peeler and the things that do peeling and coring in one container. I keep the things that are not sharp that do cutting and serving in another. I keep the utensils that I'm going to use on the stove right next to the stove in the vase. So they're all categorized by how I use them and what it's most like. So that creates an easy way for me to very quickly feel for the specific container, get into the container, find what I want, and get out.
And it sounds like, too, you have them in a drawer, and obviously people's kitchens are of different sizes, but they're in a drawer that's near to the place where you use them.
Absolutely. Anything that I have in my kitchen, I try and make sure it's within one step of where I am going to use it. And I'm very lucky that I was able to design my kitchen myself that I'm currently using. But even in kitchens where I've been renting for the last 15 years, I have found ways to optimize it so that it's as close to where I need it as possible, right? Cutlery and dishes are near each other. Spices are near where I might use them on the stove. Things that are implements that I'm going to use when I'm prepping are with all of the prepping things. So creating those zones for yourself makes it really efficient to flow through your space.
Do you use any sort of labeling as your
I do. Labeling, I am the labeling queen. I love labeling everything. I even label things visually for the people that are occasionally in my kitchen. I don't use it at all, but it's there. So don't you dare put things back where they don't go,
right?
Because there is a system and you will see it. So I use a combination of different systems. So there's visual labels for sighted people that might be in my space. There's Braille labels, but I also use 3D tactile labels in a number of different ways. So I recently found this product, and this is not sponsored whatsoever. I love it, and I find it really affordable, so I like to talk about it, called Halos, which is the home something labeling system. I have no idea what the acronym stands for, but they're fantastic. They're 3-dimensional shapes. So you don't need to read Braille. You don't need to know anything. They have them in high contrast. They have them in color differentiated. They've got them in clear. They've got them in black. So as a blind or low vision person, you can just feel on your microwave or your stove or your laundry or whatever, and it feels like the actual shape. The popcorn's shaped like a popcorn. You have circles for all the number buttons. You have a play and an X for cancel. It makes a lot of intuitive sense, and I found that to be very efficient. So I use all kinds of different labeling systems. Oh, and I use RFID stickers on magnets on my cans. So when I bring them into the house, I plop an RFID sticker with all the like kinds, and then I know, okay, that's my beans, that's my soup, that's my tomato paste, and it makes it a lot more efficient to actually keep track of cans, because that's something that's been a bugbear in my life for decades. I know a lot of people use like a pen friend or something,
right.
But I find these RFID stickers are a lot less expensive because most people have a smartphone. There's free apps to create it. And then having it on that magnet, you just move it from one to the next, to the next, to the next, and it lasts forever. I've even had them go through the washing machine by accident, and they're still fine.
Oh, wow.
So,
well, and it'd be easy, too, if you have your stack of magnets that are not attached to a can, you would know what might need to be on your grocery list, too. So.
Exactly.
So once you're organized and you're actually cleaning, and you want to be sure everything actually is clean and you haven't missed things. And of course, all of us miss something once in a while. But if if you're a person with low vision or blindness, you might be a little more concerned because you are not going to see the thing that might get missed.
Absolutely.
And how you do that and how you deal with different cleaning products. If you're trying to be able to be tactile and not, and be safe at the same time.
I am fairly minimal when it comes to chemical use and products because, like you said, it's about safety. I'm not going to be using bleach with bare hands. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be using caustic chemicals without gloves. So my system is fairly universal in that it's a combination of water, dish soap, and vinegar. Occasionally I might add a drop or two of essential oil just to make it smell pretty, but that's what I use as an all-purpose cleaner for just about everything except toilets. It works really, really well. Oh no, sorry. There's another one I use. It's kind of a clay-based cleaner for my stovetop. But all of my cleaners are non-caustic, non-toxic, safe if you licked them. Not that you'd want to.
Right, but
So there's no harm in having my hands. The worst that's going to happen is they might dry out a little bit from being exposed to dish soap. So it's a combination of patterns. So I like to imagine, and this was something my parents really instilled and had me practice growing up, is imagine you're painting the surface. Do it in a very logical way that you start close to your body, left to right, within arm's reach, or, whether you're sweeping or wiping, and then slowly move away from yourself, creating that same pattern, left and right, till as far as you can reach. Then you move one step to the left, do the exact same thing, do the same pattern over and over again. So you make sure that you cover the surface at least 1.5 times, right? So if I'm wiping, I make sure that, the cloth moves about halfway through where I've already wiped. So there's no gaps or possibility of missing surface. And I found that it's a very tactile experience because I will notice things that even sighted people will not in terms of stuck on grime on surfaces, because I'll feel it under the cloth.
Right.
I go, oh, that's gross. And then, give it a little scrub and on we go. But if you're feeling it glide and it's smooth and you'll adapt to what that feels like, then you'll know when the surface is clean. You're not going to miss anything.
Right. And similarly with floors, whether you're vacuuming or washing floors, you're just using your feet.
Absolutely. And I almost describe it as kind of a rainbow when I sweep. So I always sweep towards myself, which I know is quite unusual, or I'll sweep from the side towards myself, a little bit out, creating that kind of ray pattern towards my body. So I know that all the dirt and dust is right near my feet. I take one step backwards, put it in the dustbin, take 2 steps backwards, and then start the process all over again, creating that pattern as I move across the floor. Vacuuming is a little more linear, left and right across a room within a 3-foot span, kind of creating that same painting a surface pattern. But yeah, sweeping, I always sweep towards myself.
So moving into the bathroom, I'm thinking there's a lot of similarities there in terms of cleaning techniques. Is there anything special that you do either in terms of organization or cleaning when you're in the bathroom?
Yeah, the only exception for me to that high to low cleaning rule is I do the mirror last, because I have learned over time that when I'm cleaning the counter and I'm wiping out the sink, I might splash onto the mirror, leaving watermarks or things behind on the mirror that typically wouldn't be an issue in any other location, but mirrors are fairly visible when they get dirty.
Right.
I don't think there's anything too special about the bathroom. Floors are always last. I clean I don't transfer things that might be dirty surfaces and use them elsewhere. So if I'm wiping the toilet seat, I do not use that on the counter afterwards. That's the last step, is doing the dirtiest thing or the toilet, so that I'm not transferring germs or dirt to another surface, especially when it comes to hygiene and health practice. I think that's generally how it flows. Still relatively top to bottom. Mirror last with a brand new cloth or paper towel, and then toilet. Toilet gets its own thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I know you've talked about the halos, but do you do something similar with your actual bottles of your cleaning products where they have what to help you identify the bottles themselves?
I actually keep everything in a different shaped bottle. And I usually identify it by smell. So I have so few cleaning products. I don't really need to label them because I can tell based on the container what it is without any need for anything particular. So I know my Windex, which is one of the very few chemical cleaners I use because I haven't found a good option for glass. It's in the only plastic bottle that I have. And then I have one round, that's my clay-based cleaner for the stovetop, and that stays in the kitchen. And then, everything is kind of near where it goes as well. So I hide the toilet cleaner behind the toilet. I hide the stovetop cleaner under the sink right next to the stove. And I keep the miscellaneous cleaners together. There's only two of them. It's Windex and my soap and dish. So my dish soap and vinegar solution, and they just sit next to each other, and they're two completely different bottles. So there's no confusion there.
That's great. I thought I'd seen that tip on your YouTube channel, and I thought that was just such a really quick way to identify, even if you do only have 2 or 3 items, if they're just slightly different shapes, you wouldn't even have to have a label or anything. So I thought that was such a great tip.
Yeah. And if I do, for whatever reason, get confused about what something is, I'll open the top and then just waft or just kind of wave the smell towards my nose, and then I'll know exactly what it is without inhaling chemical or getting mystery substance on what it doesn't belong on.
Yeah. Having to figure that out later. So now we're kind of moving through the house, those big areas that, you know, have a lot of cleaning, and for health reasons, you're trying to keep them sanitized and all those kinds of things. As we're moving into the areas that have more soft surfaces, like a living room or a bedroom, any particular tips in dealing with more like fabrics or carpets?
I have a fabric cleaner. This is a new thing in my arsenal. It only comes out probably once or twice a year, or if there's serious stains on something, somebody drops some red wine somewhere it doesn't belong. But usually it's just I take the upholstery attachment on my vacuum, and maybe once a month I'll just give the cushions a real quick vacuum. I find it's relatively low maintenance. And then I use chair covers for 2 of my my chairs in my living room, which, you know, every couple of months I just pull the chair cover off, toss it in the wash, put it back on, and we're good to go. So it's very low fuss, and that's how I like it, because cleaning takes energy. I don't want to be spending my whole life cleaning. I want to be doing the things that I actually enjoy doing, which is not cleaning. It's important. It's an important piece of staying organized and being good at being efficient in your home, but it's not something that, you know, I want to spend 8 hours a day doing.
Right. Well, and we'll touch on that a little bit more in a couple minutes. I just want to touch on in the bedroom. Yes, there's the dusting and the cleaning, but I also associate my clothes and my closet with the bedroom. So in terms of laundry and, you know, taking care of those things, do you have tips for folks with that?
Yes. So I use a number of different techniques to keep organized and identify things in the bedroom. And I would consider this still something that I have as a work in progress. So I have simplified my wardrobe down to what I would call something relatively universal. All of my tops go with all of my bottoms. There would be absolutely no chance of creating a clashing outfit because I only have neutral bottoms. It's gray, it's black, or it's blue jeans. And there is not a color in the universe that would not go with that. I can wear black with that. I can wear navy with that. Because we've kind of grown beyond, oh, well, you couldn't possibly wear navy with black. And
right.
All those rules don't exist anymore.
Some of those rules we grew up with, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's not an issue anymore. And I try and create a system where I don't really have to think about it. I do keep my clothing categorized by sleeve length or type and color. So I keep my whites at one end, my blacks at the other, and my colors in the middle. So when I take something off, I have 3 bins. I have my whites, I have my blacks, I have my colors, and then everything else just would go straight into the wash, like towels or
Sure.
sheets. That's a separate thing. It doesn't need a bin. So there's no confusion having things come out of the wash what it was, because there's 3 labeled bins it could possibly go into the moment it leaves my body to go into the bin or right into the wash. I also, for accessories and things that I might want to have more detail on, I'll use RFID stickers again to label things like belts. Okay, is this a brown belt? Is this a gold belt? Is this a pink belt? Is this a yellow belt? Because that's a lot of stuff to keep in your head.
Mm-hmm.
I find it difficult to always know what something is, because there's always so many items, you can't keep track of all of that. Or if it's a soft thing that I use occasionally, I might put 1, 2, or 3 clothespins on the inside of the collar or the inside of the sleeve, so that when I'm kind of running my hands along, I can quickly identify, okay, I know that's a color because it's 2 safety pins. Okay, yeah, no, I remember now, that's black, that's 3 safety pins. Oh, that's white, it's 1 safety pin. I've been working on a system where I'm trying to develop something more universal that's shape-based to just iron onto clothes that is just so it makes it easier to identify, but I'm still ironing out the fine details there. So that's something that I hope to release real soon.
In development. We'll have to stay tuned for that. Well, finally, I want to spend our last few minutes of this program. As you said, you don't want to spend your entire life cleaning, and it's important. And even if you have a weekend or something you set aside every quarter or twice a year to do some of those extra jobs, deep cleaning jobs, really the point of cleaning and being organized is to be able to enjoy more of life and enjoy hobbies. So whether it's like sports, or I know you're a seamstress and you're a musician, like doing all your different activities, do you have that bring you joy? But do you have any tips on organizing the fun things in life so that you can spend more time having fun and not looking for things?
It's basically the same system as you'd find anywhere else in my home. It's categorizing things by type. It's labeling it in a way that makes sense for me. And that's something I think people get hung up on is, oh, well, no, I have to use this system, or I have to use that system, or that's the one that people have told me. Forget what you've been told. Use the system that works for you. My systems may not work for everybody, and they may not make sense to everybody. So it's what makes it efficient and easy for you. If keeping things just lined up in a drawer outside of organizers works, do that. But for me, I like categorizing those things so I can just feel for the specific organizer and identify like with like. I use the Braille labels, I'll use tactile labels, I'll use RFID stickers. It's kind of a combination approach to find something that makes it make sense, so that when you have all of those little elements, those bits that need homes, they have a home. For starters, they have to have a space. They aren't just sitting in a box. They aren't left out on the counter all the time. They have a home, or they have a space that's designated to them. And I've managed to make that work in a 500 square foot apartment. So you can make that happen. It might be, you stack a couple of storage units on top of each other, or you need to find a creative way to make the space work, or declutter some more, prioritize what you actually want to keep. But it comes down to make a space for it, create systems that make sense to you to maximize your independence and your enjoyment of the things that bring you joy in your space, and create efficiency so you're not frustrated looking for things because they've gone missing for the 32nd time.
That's great. Well, I think we all want to spend less time having to clean and more time having fun with whatever activities and hobbies we enjoy. So these are some great tips to help us do that. I appreciate that. Tamara is going to be back with us on another episode, and we're going to be talking about something that, again, frequently happens spring, early summer. People start thinking about moving, whether that's an apartment or home. And Tamara, I know you have just done this recently, so you have lots of advice to give our listeners of things that they can do, or maybe things they need to avoid. But when you can start with a blank slate and you can create a space to function and be laid out the way that you want, that's also a great thing, a great opportunity to take advantage of. So we will be back with that, but definitely check out Unsightly Opinions on YouTube. Is there any other place that folks should find you?
Oh, I'm everywhere. I'm YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I'm everywhere. So any social media you care to use, that's where I'm at. And it's Unsightly Opinions, except for Twitter, which is Unsightly Op, because they limit their username length.
Right. So definitely. So thank you. Again, I just want to mention that Game Changers is coming in May, and we're looking for some co-hosts for that. If you know anyone who might be interested in doing that, and a co-host for Evan with BLT, Blind Level Tech as well. And it's early, but you don't want to miss it. You want to get it on your calendar so you're not taking a trip somewhere else. On July 27th, we will be having our annual Bringing Print to Life hike. And you can get information on that on our website at www.aftersight.org. So please go ahead and sign up, or if you know somebody who might be interested in being a sponsor, we'd love that too. So never too early to get those summer activities on your calendar. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Tamara. Thank
you for having me.
You're welcome. And I hope for all of you, this episode and this information has helped you navigate life with vision loss.